Brandao, and it's Wednesday Wisdom, and April is Financial Literacy Month. So our topic today is education. I've been in the mortgage industry for over 25 years, and when you've done something for a very long time, you start to think that everyone around you has the same knowledge and understanding that you do. But that is not a correct assumption. As mortgage and real estate professionals, we need to bring it down to the simplest level in order to provide the best experience and education that we can to all of our clients. We need to be reminded that buying a home is one of the most significant financial decisions that most families will make in a lifetime. While the idea of owning a home is so exciting, the process can be a bit overwhelming, especially for those that are first-time home buyers. Therefore, it's crucial to educate our families on mortgages to help them make informed decisions. Also, remember that you are building generational wealth. This is a life-changing experience and something that can be very positive or negative, because if we make it difficult, or if we do not take them by the hand and guide them, they will remember that and shy away from it in the future. But if we make it smooth and easy and they're overwhelmed with all the communication and knowledge, they will look to do it again. Okay, now one of the most important aspects of mortgage education is understanding the different types of mortgages available. Whether it's explaining the difference between an FHA or USDA mortgage versus a conventional Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, or assisting our veterans with utilizing their well-deserved benefit. We also now have programs for self-employed borrowers and investors, whether it's a bank statement loan program or a DSCR. There's so many more options. Now, although that's wonderful for us as mortgage professionals, it again can be overwhelming for our clients as they're sitting and Googling different loan programs and becoming overwhelmed with lots of numbers and APRs and interest rates and LTVs. What do all of these different letters mean? Well, that's where you and I come into play. These are opportunities for us to make videos, for us to leave messages, for us to sit across those tables and bring it down to the lowest level. We are not being rude by simplifying. We actually are being overly communicative. And that is part of us being mortgage and real estate professionals. Now, another aspect of mortgage education is understanding all of the different costs. Again, we live in the information and technology age. That's a blessing and a curse because, I don't know if any of you have ever typed in, an ailment into WebMD. And all of a sudden, maybe you've got a bump on your finger. Next thing you know, you're reading things about how that bump can turn into a life-threatening disease. It's the same thing with our world. People start looking up closing costs, origination fees, APRs, different fees that are associated, whether it's a well or a septic test or a home inspection or an appraisal. And should I do this and should I do that? It is absolutely overwhelming. And these are people that every dollar that they've saved a lot of times are going into these transactions. I can remember purchasing my first home. I was 25 years old, and I remember, and going through that experience, it was down to the penny of having enough money to be able to close. And it was very scary. And I can remember getting my mortgage commitment and getting what my monthly payment was going to be with taxes and insurance and mortgage insurance and everything. And I almost broke down, thinking, how am I ever going to be able to continue to make this payment year after year after year for the next 30 years? Because in that moment, you just don't see clearly. You are just taken aback by all these numbers and facts and documents and people questioning, what about this large deposit? What about this little gap in your employment? What's the story with this or that? Or write an explanation. People start spiraling and getting very out of control. And that is where our ability to connect, our ability to form those strong relationships, we have to be a guide. It would be the same as if we took somebody into the Amazon jungle and we were an expert within that jungle. We have to protect them. We have to warn them, to be careful where they step. We have to warn them of what they should be wearing on their feet and how they should be dressed and what they should be doing. That's the same thing with guiding them through the mortgage process, whether it's do not take out any new debt, don't change jobs, don't put any large deposits, these are all things that we know can cause difficulty through the mortgage process. They do not know this. We sometimes make light of it. It's actually not something to joke about. It's something very serious, because if those things occur, that means that we didn't guide them. And the next thing you know, a boa constrictor wraps around their neck and they're in serious life-threatening danger as we're going through that Amazon jungle. You are the guide. You are the trusted individual that is going to guide them home. They need to know how they should be prepared in order to have that successful transition. In regards to mortgage interest rates, you know that they're getting mixed messages from every direction, whether it's turning on the news, whether it's turning on social media, whether it's sitting at lunch with a colleague, whether it's their parents, their friends, anyone else. So you're buying a house. What interest rate did you get? Ooh, that's not a good rate. My rate is this. My brother just got a loan and his rate is that. This is what you are going to be compared against. So it's time for you to educate that family and explain why their interest rate is X, and make sure that they're able to be prepared for when that conversation comes their way. Another thing that you need to explain is credit scores. Don't just look at a credit score and say, oh, your credit score is X, it's 680, it's 740, it's 550, whatever the number is. Explain, go over the credit report with them. Explain how the FICO score is determined. Explain to them how to keep it a good one or how to make it better if it's one that needs some work. Let them understand this, because regardless of this particular transaction that you're working on, that is valuable information for the whole rest of their lives. Remember that most mortgages are 30 years long. So me getting that first loan so many years ago, I had no idea where the rest of my life was going to go, what direction it would be. But you're making those decisions at that particular stage through education and knowledge of how to keep their credit great, what happens in terms of escrow payments, what happens when there's a shortage, explain those things. That's another scary occurrence that can happen after closing, that if you guide them, if you take them to the other side, outside of the Amazon jungle, and you say, okay, guys, if you ever want to come back here, let's go over a few things in order to make sure that you have a successful and safe trip. It's the same thing with what we do. In conclusion, educating families on mortgages is crucial in helping them make informed decisions and avoid costly mistakes. By understanding the different types of mortgages, the costs involved, maintaining good credit, avoiding foreclosure, families can enjoy the benefits of home ownership without unnecessary stress. Mortgage education should be a priority for families looking to purchase a home, and it is the responsibility of all of us to provide this education. We are so blessed to be mortgage and real estate professionals. And with that comes great responsibility. to continue to educate our communities and always be a valuable resources for generations to come. Wishing you all a wonderful week, and please join me next week for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Wishing you all a fabulous day.